revenge. Some say it is a dish best served cold, but in these stories, you are about to hear it is served with creativity, style, and just the right amount of satisfaction. Sit back and get ready because these are some of the sweetest revenge stories ever told. Our first story starts with Sarah, a kind-hearted woman working in a cozy little coffee shop. Every morning she brewed smiles along with cappuccinos. Life was simple until he walked in, her boss, Mr. Dalton, the kind of man who wore expensive suits and an even bigger ego. To him, employees were nothing more than tools, and Sarah was his favorite target. One night, Sarah stayed late after closing to help clean up. Instead of a thank you, she found a letter on the counter. Fired. No warning, no explanation. Just gone. Why? Because Mr. Dalton wanted to hire his niece, and that was the last mistake he would ever make. What Mr. Dalton didn't know was that Sarah had a secret talent one he could never put a price on. She was a tech genius. While working at that little coffee shop, she had been helping local businesses with their websites on the side, including Mr. Dalton's coffee chain. And yes, she still had admin access to his entire online system. So what did she do? She didn't delete anything. She didn't ruin his reputation. Sarah played the long game. She changed all the promo codes for free drinks to one simple phrase: be kind to your staff. Then she shared those codes everywhere, on social media, local blogs, and community boards. Within 24 hours, every single shop in his chain was giving away free drinks, thousands of them for a whole week. By the time Mr. Dalton figured it out, it was too late. He lost thousands in revenue and his precious reputation. People loved the campaign. They called it the most wholesome coffee brand in town. He couldn't admit it was a mistake, so he had to roll with it for months. And Sarah? She started her own business, and guess who her first big client was? Mr. Dalton's biggest competitor. Revenge isn't always about anger. Sometimes it is about making the world just a little sweeter, one free latte at a time. But that is just the beginning. Let me tell you about Jake. Jake worked at a tech company for 5 years. He was the guy who fixed everyone's problems, but never got the recognition he deserved. One day, his boss decided to take credit for a major project that Jake had worked on for months. The boss presented it in a big meeting, and even got a promotion for it, while Jake got nothing. No thanks, no bonus, just silence. Jake was angry, but he didn't explode. Instead, he smiled, because he knew something the boss didn't. Jake had built that system from scratch, and every single piece of code was his. And deep in that code, he had something special. Not a virus, not something destructive, but a little timer. A small, harmless feature that would kick in only if Jake was removed from the company's system. Weeks later, the company decided they didn't need Jake anymore. They fired him and walked him out of the building. 2 weeks after that, the system went down. Entire servers crashed. The company panicked. They tried everything, but nothing worked. And guess who they had to call? That's right, Jake. He fixed it, but this time, he charged them a consultant fee so high it made his previous salary look like pocket change. They paid because they had no choice. And Jake? He started his own business and never looked back. Now, story number 3 is one of my favorites because it is about a wedding. Emma was supposed to marry the love of her life, but 2 weeks before the wedding, she found out he was cheating on her with her best friend. Devastated but determined, Emma decided not to call off the wedding. Oh no, she had a better plan. The big day arrived. Everyone was there, family, friends, the groom looking smug as ever. Emma walked down the aisle with a calm smile on her face. When it was time to exchange vows, she pulled out a piece of paper and said, "I have a few words to share." She read every single text message, every photo, every lie right there in front of everyone. The room went silent. The groom turned pale. And then she dropped the final bomb. "There will be no wedding today. Instead, there will be a celebration of honesty. Food, drinks, and music are on me. Enjoy." And with that, she walked out, leaving the groom humiliated and the guests cheering for her. That was the best party the guests ever had. And Emma? She said it was the most liberating day of her life. And finally, let me tell you about Michael. Michael lived in an apartment building with a neighbor from hell. This guy was loud, rude, and always parked in Michael's spot even after countless warnings. One day, Michael had enough. He noticed the neighbor had a habit of leaving his car windows slightly open. So Michael bought a big bag of glitter. The next time the car was in his spot, Michael poured the entire bag through the gap in the window. Days later, the neighbor was still vacuuming glitter out of his seats. Every time the sunlight hit that car, it sparkled like a disco ball. The best part? Glitter is impossible to clean completely. That neighbor never parked in Michael's spot again. Revenge doesn't always mean destruction. Sometimes it is about creativity, about turning a bad situation into something that makes you smile. And these stories? They remind us of one simple truth. Mess with the wrong person and you might just end up in the next great revenge story.